So I'm Ian here with Minuteman Theory.
And I'm Brad, and today we have our special guest, Hugh Taylor, who is running for the mayor of the City of Libby. Hugh, would you introduce yourself?
I'm Hugh Taylor. I'm running for mayor of the City of Libby. I'm a Libby native, went to school here, graduated here, spent my whole life here. My dad was a lumber mill worker down at our mill, and I'm hoping to make Libby a better place for all of us.
All right. Yeah, and just a reminder, we're doing these episodes with the candidates for mayor because we think people should be educated about who they vote for, and they need to know who they're voting for, what they're voting in, and why.
And an unbiased opinion.
Yeah,
Just these
Absolutely.
So just
Be informed.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, why are you running for mayor, Hugh?
Well, I'm running for mayor because Libby, in my opinion, it lacks leadership. It lacks direction. I don't think our current administration is leading us in the direction I think Libby should go. I don't believe our current administration is a strong administration. I want to make Libby a better place for all of us and for all the citizens. I want to make Libby a place where citizens can get answers, where citizens are involved in their government, where they don't feel separated from their government. We go to city council meetings, people stand up, they ask questions all day long. Why is this way? What about that? And it's dead silence because that's what they're instructed to do by their attorney. And I want to open that dialogue. I want to say once a quarter we have a State of the City union. Let's have a public meeting where we can all sit down just like this. And we don't even have to have an agenda. Let's just talk. We're neighbors. We're friends. We got to get along. And the betterment of Libby is what we all have to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
but that's why I'm running for mayor. I've been on the council since 2018. I've voted on some pretty serious issues, in my opinion, and I've voted very conservatively on those issues. I've always tried to look out what I think is best for everybody, not what's best for this special interest group or what's best for that special interest group. And I also try to look at what's best for the city as a whole. Sometimes our opinions are not well liked, they're not well received, but there's a reason behind that. We've done the research, we've done our homework. We didn't just show up 2 minutes earlier and say, oh, well, I voted for this because it was there and I think that's the right thing to do. Well, did you ask any questions? Did you do any history? Did you do any homework on this at all? Or did you show up 5 minutes before the meeting and sit down and vote?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think that's pretty common on the
Absolutely.
city council?
There's at least several members of the council over my time being there, which we've had some change up since I've been there. They sign off that they read the bills and never looked at them. Or they're there for literally less than 5 minutes. How did you look through a pile of bills and payrolls and claims like that in less than 5 minutes and even understand what's in there? But you sign up and voted, yep, I approve this, don't approve this, whatever, without knowing what you even voted on. Most of the main topics, I think the council stays involved, and I think, that, we're trying to do this water main up here, we need to do this for this reason, is it in the best interest of Libby? And I think the majority of the time, we all try to do our best. Our council right now is fairly diversified. It's not, these are all bankers and lawyers, and these are all guys that work on the streets. It's a mix of everybody, and a lot of good knowledge comes together. And we work fairly we coexist fairly well, I think, and it's a very functional council. But I think the special interests need to go, and I think the leadership because the agenda is set by the mayor. And several different council members, myself included, have made agenda requests for things to occur, to bring it up on the agenda, and they were denied by the mayor. Well, last I knew, it says city council meeting, not mayor meeting.
Sure.
So why is the mayor denying topics that a city council member wants to discuss?
Right.
Well, but I mean, I'm sure there are some times, though, where a city council member might bring up something that would be silly to have on the agenda, something like, oh, well, we should talk about having cookies in the lobby at City Hall or something.
Well, but the purpose, and that's where a lot of people get confused on our form of government. We have a charter form of government with self-governing powers. We have an executive branch, just like Donald Trump, President of the United States. Then we have our legislative branch. That is what the council is there to do. They are there to pass laws, regulations, ordinances. The day-to-day affair, whether you have cookies in the lobby or not, staff wants cookies. Hey, Mayor, can we budget this in to put cookies in the lobby? I mean, I mean, they could do something like that, but it'd be kind of a moot point. It's
Right.
not an ordinance. It's not a resolution. It's not a changing of flow of traffic, putting in stop signs and anything like that. So,
Right.
so the legislative branch really wouldn't be involved in that day-to-day stuff like that.
Well, but I'm saying like that would be an example of something where maybe the mayor would say like, this isn't something you should have to vote on, so it's not going to be
Correct.
on the agenda.
Well, that would be, I guess, but I would hope that our legislators know that that's not in their scope or their wheelhouse.
Right. Right.
And I think the ones we currently do and then whoever, I'm not sure if the public's all aware that there was 4 seats available on the council.
Mm-hmm.
The one gentleman's already won by acclamation because he ran unopposed.
What does that mean? Acclamation.
So he was appointed to fill your spot.
Yes. So I guess real quick, full disclosure, I was on city council. Hugh and I worked close together, but that's not. I'm here to remain neutral for the whole thing.
So he took his spot. He was elected to a 4-year term. So come January 1, there's 2 years left in his term.
Mm-hmm.
So Ethan was just appointed to fill to the next election.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be 2 years left in his term. So he ran for the 2-year term. The other 3 or 4, ran for the 4-year terms.
I understand.
Okay.
So no one ran against him for the 2 years. So
Right.
he wins by acclamation because no one opposed him for
Right.
that 2-year term.
Right.
Okay.
He just automatically gets the seat.
Okay, that makes sense.
So then, with that being said, there's 3 other seats that are up for election in November. Miss Smith's not running again.
Is that confirmed? She said she's done.
But it's too late to can't be a writer. You can't be anything.
Oh, it's already.
Yeah, that's a done deal.
Oh, okay.
That was
Okay.
don't quote me. I want to say June.
Oh,
June
yeah,
something,
yeah.
June 17th or 20. So, anyways, and even be writing is already come and gone.
Okay.
I mean, people could always write whatever they want on a blank. but
Right.
that's-
Right.
It's not an official ballot. But no,
Right.
Miss Smith's not running again, and Miss Burke's not running again. So then we have Gail Berger was appointed to fill Gary Beach's spot. So she's running to retain her seat.
Yes.
Brian Crompton's running for one of the seats.
I don't think I know him.
He's a nurse at the hospital and a volunteer ambulance person.
Okay.
And then we have Erica
Schaefer?
Schaefer.
Yeah.
She's running for one of the seats. And then we have Brookie Bolin that's running for one of the seats. So there's 4 people running for 3 seats.
Okay.
So if you take into account Ethan, 4 of the 6 council seats will have less than 6 months on the council come January 1.
Right. Right. Yes. No. Absolutely. Yes.
So
be
the
pretty-
majority of the council will be
Pretty green council.
Yes.
correct. So say I was to lose the election, that would leave myself and Mr. Zimmerman the only 2 that have been there more than 6 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Wow. So if you do win the election, then does your seat go up for re-election
for appointment
or for appointment? Right.
till the next election.
Okay.
And that would be 2 years, right? 'Cause
Correct.
We okay.
Yeah, that'd be 2 years, and be the reason your bubble fell different
Yes.
was because there was an election in between the end of your term.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
why the
Right.
appointment was until the next election,
Right,
which was
okay.
only 2 years in.
Right.
In 2 years, I would be up for re-election for
Right.
the council.
Right.
I see.
So yes, then if that case was to happen, then you'd have 5 of the 6 council members would have less than 6 months.
Yo.
So it's a huge shakeup
Yeah,
in our local
yeah.
government. I think it's the largest shakeup we've had since I've been involved, or maybe in my lifetime. I had to have to research that.
Right,
But at
right.
least since I've been involved, that's the largest shakeup. That's all but one person on the council will be less than 6 months.
So, what is the number one issue facing Libby, and what is your plan to fix it?
Well, that's a really good question. The number one, there is no number one problem with Libby. Libby as a whole's number one problem is our infrastructure. It's aged, it's failing. Our predecessors, when all the tax revenues were here and the mine was here and the lumber receipts were here, they didn't dump all that money into upgrading this equipment. Of course, in part of back history, people don't know this. The City of Libby inherited our water system from PP&L.
Really? Even I didn't know that.
Pacific,
is
Pacific
privately
Power
owned?
owned the dam and owned
Okay.
the water lines
Oh,
and the
okay.
electricity in town.
Okay.
So I can't remember. lying, Dave. I told you, I want to say in the late 70s, early 80s, the city inherited that system.
Okay.
So then the city, we've put in a new dam, we've done all these things. But our infrastructure, I mean, well, they're tearing up Cedar Street right now again. I mean, we're working on all the time trying to upgrade our infrastructure. We're getting ready to do the wastewater treatment substation down there on 2nd Street, or 1st Street, excuse me, because it's a mess. And that's the biggest thing that's hurting us there. But Libby as a whole is a two-part thing. I think that's the biggest thing we have. We have lack of transparency. Three-part thing, excuse me. We have lack of transparency. We have lack of accountability, and we have no public trust.
I definitely feel that.
Yes, I 100% agree.
So
with you.
I can't say this is it. This is
Right,
a hot topic.
right.
I mean, the burden that's falling on Libby is our failing infrastructure.
Right.
And how to do that. And part of the water rate increase, which I voted against, you voted against, was to address part of that, and it's helping. Do I think it was done the right way? Absolutely not. And that's why I voted against it.
That was my issue with it, yeah.
There was other ways of doing it. I mean, that little increase should have been $1 a year for the last 20 years, and then it wouldn't have been that big hit, or $2 a year, excuse me. It wouldn't have been the big hit that everybody felt.
Right.
Because lack of planning.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
So that's the biggest problem with that. But no, I think the public trust, the accountability, and the transparency. I think the perception of the citizens of Libby is that they can't trust their government, and their government doesn't work for them. They work for their government, and that is absolutely wrong in my America, anyways.
Yeah.
I think that we need to rebuild that trust. And how do you do that? It's a multifaceted thing. First of all, you have to have an open door policy. And yes, there's personnel issues, and there's things the public can't know. But anything that's within the scope, the realm, why hide it? I mean, something, we'll bring this up because I know it's going to be a topic for somebody. I've had somebody beating on me on Facebook about, well, the mayor currently works not 40, 50 hours a week down there and at the city hall because she's retired and this and that and the other thing. Well, how do you plan on making all that and keep your full-time job? Well, I can show you right in the last revision of the charter signed by Fred Brown, the mayor's a part-time job. It says that right in there.
Yeah.
So how do you get around that? I work a full-time job. Well, the meetings I need to take off work for, I will. If the governor comes to town or the EPA or DEQ and we need to meet, well then, hey, I'll take my lunch, I'll take a day off, whatever I have to do. We'll make it work. But beyond all that, for the everyday stuff that, hey, we're going to discuss painting the sidewalks pink, whatever topic you want to pick on, how about we have them after 5 o'clock when the public can attend?
Yeah.
Wouldn't
I like
that be a wonderful
I like
idea?
that a lot. Yeah, I like that a lot.
The majority, I mean, granted, there's people that work graveyard and swing shift and rotating shifts, and that you can't accommodate everybody, but get the public involved. Don't have any of these meetings at 9 o'clock in the morning when everybody's at work. So people, well, nobody attended the meeting. Well, that's because they don't want to leave their paying job to come to a meeting.
That was one of my gripes was let's have this meeting at noon. It's like, man, I work nights. Do you realize that noon is 4 hours before I get up? Like, I mean, that's like me asking somebody to come in at midnight and do a meeting. That's, I 100%, I'm 100% behind that.
And that's the other thing. And of course, my work schedule, my boss is all on board with this. My employer, I've worked for him for almost 10 years. He just thinks that, and that this is what needs to happen. But my lunch is typically at 1 o'clock. So that's the time that'd be perfect to, hey, let's go down and meet with the city administrator, let's meet with the clerk, let's meet with the gals up front, let's meet with the street department, let's meet with whoever we need to. Because that's back to, if you got a strong figurehead and a strong team underneath you, which the city has a great staff. We've got great personnel. If you have the right people in place, no different than the military, the captain doesn't show up to the platoon every day and say, what's going on here? He tells the sergeant, this is what I want done. The sergeant tells the lance corporal that this is what I want done. And the privates are all out there doing what they're supposed to do. The privates answer to lance corporal answers the sergeant goes to the lieutenant and says, Lieutenant, this is what's happening.
Right.
So if you have the right team in place, it doesn't need to be a full-time job.
straightforward and maintained.
It needs to be. I mean, that's back to transparency and accountability.
Right.
If you're not doing your job, you're going to know that you're not doing your job, and I'm going to know that you're not doing your job.
Right.
So let's. I mean, we're all on the same page. Just let's be in the same book.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's. I'm doing a lot of talking that.
No,
That's
what this is for.
yeah,
Man.
that's what this
is for.
I don't know what questions you guys have for me or don't have for me, but there's just so much going on down there. And Peggy Williams, I've known her since I was a little kid. I graduated with her oldest daughter. We went to kindergarten together. I mean,
Right.
I mean, she's a great lady. She's just, I mean, and I enjoyed the time I spent with her on the council. She's really good with the budget. And she's really good with the protocols of punctuation and grammar and getting everything lined up. And she's great at that. But she's not a leader. She's just not a leader. She's, I mean, and several times I've had people say, well, my own personal experience. Let's not say what anybody else says.
Sure.
I wanted to file an official complaint about a contractor for the City of Libby. And the city administrator was out for the day. So I called the mayor, and I said, I'm not calling you as a council member, I'm calling you as a citizen. I want to file an official complaint against contractor X. I don't think we have a process in place for that. I said, really? All the other complaints we've dealt with and I've heard about, we don't have one to hold a contractor accountable to the contract that they signed and agreed to the terms of. No, I don't think so. Well, let me get right back with you. Well, let me see here. That's been, I think, 3.5 weeks ago.
Wow.
And I've yet to hear anything. I've been to 2 city council meetings since then. I've never heard a word about how to file that process. I don't want to tell you a lie here, so let's get back to where it's hiding on here.
Well, I would think that a leader in that position would say, oh, well, we don't have an official process for that, so I need to start working on creating one.
Correct. Or Sam is gone, our city administrator, for those that don't know. Sam is gone. He's gone for 2 weeks to doing whatever he's doing on his vacation. God bless his soul. Have a vacation. Enjoy life.
Yeah.
Life's
Right.
too short.
Right.
But as soon as he gets back, we'll all sit down together. How about we even discuss it at the council meeting? And I brought this up as a topic at the council meeting during council comments and suggestions. We need to look at how do we keep our contractors accountable. This is before the next violation.
Right.
Nothing still occurred. There's no dialogue. There's no committee put together. There's no nothing.
Just
Right.
lack of action.
Lack of action, lack of follow through, lack of leadership. And that's my
Yes.
own personal experience. I can't tell you what I've heard from other people, around town that I contacted her about this. I had one lady 2 winters ago reached out to me about the city wasn't plowing to her curb. City ordinance says they'll plow to the curb, and she went round and round with the mayor and the city administrator. So she says, Hugh, would you mind coming to my house? She's like, I don't know how old she is. She's an elderly lady. She's retired. So I go to her house. So what's going on? And she says, they say that they're plowed to the curb. Well, Hugh, the curb is there. The snowbank is here.
Right.
And
Right.
the curb is right there. And she lives in a weird street that makes kind of a hard jong. So she can't get her garbage can out to the
Yes.
street because they're not
Right.
plowing to the curb.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
So then I did finally go down. I says, Madam Mayor, I said, we need to address this. I've actually personally looked at this for this lady, and she did. She went out there and looked, and well, the curb ends right here, and the lady, same thing, out there in her snow boots, stomps out. No, the curb is here, Madam Mayor. Well, now the problem's handled, but it's still, it should never have gotten that far. It
Right.
should have been just addressed.
Right.
She shouldn't have had to make 2 or 3 phone calls to have a simple problem. And maybe we can accommodate whatever it was. Maybe, the way the street jogs right there, there's no way to plow that part of the, but I'll tell you what, once a week we'll send someone around to get a scoop there to make sure you get your garbage, whatever, just address the problem.
Right.
And say,
Yeah, right.
we can't do anything about it at all. It's just the way it is. It sucks, and I hate it, and I wish we could do better, and, it's down the road with a different plan, a different road plowing system, maybe we could do something. But I don't have a fix for it, but at least we can agree to disagree. That don't just shun the problem.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah. Or just kind of ignore it and hope it goes away. And,
Yeah, well,
I can tell you it won't go away.
Yeah.
It will get
Yeah.
worse.
Or if the snow, it's end of January. Well, that was one of the other comments I got when I contacted the mayor was, well, at least they're about to pave in front of your house and the problem will be done. Because they were paving like the next day.
Right.
That still doesn't mean the problem was fixed.
Right,
And it
right.
didn't require follow through.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
right.
well. The problem will fix itself because they'll be done and they won't be in your neighborhood anymore.
Right. Right.
Well, guess what they tore up yesterday and blocked access to?
Right, right.
With no notice and no whatever. But anyways, so that's back to not handling the problem. The problem should have been handled.
Right.
Now, to shift gears a bit, I know you and I have talked a little bit about the young people here. Well, what's your feelings on young people that grow up here, young people that are moving here, and what Libby has to offer or doesn't have to offer?
Well, unfortunately, my stand on the young people who live here is they are our most valuable resource. Because no different than any group you pick, I don't care if you pick the Latter Days Committee to the Nordic Fest Committee to your local churches to whatever group you have, all those groups are aging. You go in there and see the members, and most of them are older than I am, or at least my age. You don't see the 15-year-olds and the 20-year-olds and the 25-year-olds and the 30-year-olds. So without the industry, there's nothing to keep our youth here. Granted, COVID coming in and people being able to work remotely and things like that surely helped with that. But our education system is one of the things that we need to focus on. Granted, the city has zero control over that.
Right.
But we can help people stay involved. That's part of this the whole thing is, everybody wants to complain about the problems Libby has, but nobody wants to act. Well, I didn't know that was going on. Well, did you get signed up for the email list from the school district or from the city to get notices about council meetings? Did you get signed up? Did you attend a meeting? The Zoom address is always the same? I mean, to say, well, I didn't know this was going on when you choose not to participate.
Yeah. I hear that all the time. That's part of the thing that we tried to do with our YouTube channel is get people involved in their communities to help uplift their communities and strengthen their communities.
Hence why we're doing this. Like I had said, we want this is our community service.
Your
basically.
Outreach.
Yeah, this is our outreach, is our community service, so that everybody has, the an unbiased, unfiltered opinion.
Absolutely. I spoke with the newspaper gentleman from the Western News just Monday night at the city council meeting. Excuse me. And he wants to get together and have an interview and all this fun stuff like that. And I said, well, great, just let me know what works for you. Where can I get my questions ahead of time so I'm not trying to just shoot these off the cuff. Because all these answers they're very in depth. I mean, I can give you a real quick answer, but as soon as we leave, well, I thought of 12 other things.
Yeah.
But I told him, I says, and no one has approached me. No one has spoke about it. I've not seen anything on social media about anything to do with meet and greet with the candidates. I've seen nothing. So if I don't hear something by the first of the month, somewhere around the middle of October, I'm going to host a meet and greet for every candidate. Is all welcome, and I'll pay for it. I don't care. We'll do something at the pavilion, kind of like we spoke in the past.
Yes.
Down there at Fireman's Park, or whatever we got to do, cook some hot dogs, some beanie weenies, whatever we want to do. That's fine. I mean, I'm not above doing that, because just exactly what we're talking about. I don't need you to vote for me because I tell you to vote for me. I want you to vote for me because you're informed.
Yes.
Meet all the candidates.
Yes.
I'm not inviting. That's my competition. I'm not inviting you. Make an educated decision.
And we're trying to get the other party that's running. It's been rather. No, we already got him.
Yeah. So okay, we spoke with Jonathan Jameson already.
Yes.
And I sent Peggy Williams an email last week and didn't hear back, and I called her earlier today and left a message and haven't heard back. So, Peggy, if you see this, we still want you on.
Yes.
Just you know how to get a hold of me. So
hey,
but no, I truly believe that. I mean, just like I was talking about the council earlier when we first started, you have to make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and that being said, I think, in my opinion, if you're happy with the status quo in Libby, that you're happy with your water rates, you're happy that our police department imploded, you're happy we lost half our sewer department, you're happy with the condition of the roads in Libby and our infrastructure and the way things are going and the way it's leading, then I'm probably not your candidate. But because I'm not happy.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I'm probably not your candidate, and I mean that's a horrible thing to say, but it's an educated thing.
Right.
I'm not telling
Well,
you.
that's an honest thing to
Yeah,
say.
I'm not going to come forward and say, "Well, I want to be the mayor," and I'm not changing nothing. Everything's going to stay exactly the same. Nothing. Then why change mayors?
Right.
Sure.
But
Right.
why change anything? Why? I mean, that's just to me that's nonsense to think. Why would I run for mayor if I thought everything was perfect?
Right.
Why did Brian Zimmerman run for mayor if he thought everything was perfect? Why did Mr. Jameson run for mayor if he thinks everything's perfect? Obviously, multiple people don't think everything's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And
Definitely.
I promise you, I will not just sit by and do nothing. Because those three things I listed, accountability, transparency, and public trust, are foremost of what I think we need in this. And strong leadership. It's I mean, take that for whatever it's worth. That's where I stand. And I am very much a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution. It's a great country. I took an oath to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And last I knew, there was 0 expiration date on that oath.
Right.
None.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's who I am. And I'm pretty much a no-nonsense kind of guy. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree.
Yes.
But I will never lie to you. Step one. If I don't know the answer, I will get the answer. Because there's nobody, I don't care who you are, what form of government you're in, what job you're in, there's nobody that knows everything.
Oh, no.
If you think you do, you're naive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, there's a term for that. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you don't know, you're somewhat of a novice in your field or whatever, but you think you know everything, and then you find out that you don't know everything.
The more I know, the more I realize I don't know. You know. And I've
Absolutely.
been-
Absolutely. You know, and it's you know, everybody asks me, why do you want to be the mayor? Let's go to that point. Okay, why do you want to be the mayor of Libby? And I can tell you that I think Libby doesn't have accountability, transparency, and public trust. I can tell you all these things. I don't want to be the mayor. I need to be the mayor.
Right. Right.
Because those
Right.
things are broken.
Right.
And the lack of leadership is there. It's not that, well, this, you know, because it's going to be a strain on me. It's going to be a strain on my personal life. It's going to be a strain on my work schedule. It's going to be a strain on everything. You know, stress, mental health, all the things you want to, wherever you want to, blood pressure, all the above.
Right.
I mean, it's not like this is a full-time job and you're making $100,000 a year. This thing pays peanuts.
Yes.
Yeah, and like you said before, it's a part-time job.
Yeah. Well, if you're in this for the money, you're in it for the wrong reason, because there's no money to be had there.
But see, that's where I think, in my opinion, I think that's, you may not make a lot of money, but I feel like there are some people on council that are benefiting from some decisions that are being made in the axillary. You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well,
I feel like that's kind of, you know, while in public office you may not be making a lot, but I feel like there are some things that are happening behind the scenes that benefit these people. You know what I mean? And that's where I could see people having issue with the transparency and that sort of thing. You know.
Yeah. But, you know, and my dad told me once when I was a little kid that Hugh, always tell the truth. Because you don't have to remember the lie. The truth's always the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
You don't have to, what did I tell Bob and what did I tell Sue and what did
Right.
I... It's the same every time. I mean, granted, truth, you know, back to the old adage, truth just depends upon the point from which you view it.
Right.
You know, we can all three watch a car crash. We all see three. You know, you saw him on the cell phone. I saw him swerve. And you saw that he was eating a hamburger and he just didn't care.
Right.
But
Right.
it's still a car crash,
Right.
but three different points of view.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but that's it. I mean, I will never tell you that I know it all. And I will never tell you that I am 100% right 100% of the time. And I'm going to tell you, if I'm the mayor, I'm going to make mistakes. And I'm not going to promise you I'm going to do anything. What I'm
Right.
going to promise you is I will do all that I can. Because there's things that people think the mayor can do
Yes.
that the council has a say.
Yes.
Or whatever else. The state has a say. You know, like a big one I get now is Well, why I live just outside city limits. Why can't I vote? That's a state thing. The mayor can't change that. We can get with our representatives, Steve Gunderson, Tom Willett, and we can try to change that.
What I would reply to that is, would you like to be annexed? And watch everything disappear from their argument because, you know.
Well, but some of those same people, though, that have this argument, the Andreessens own Timberline. Mm-hmm. They own that business downtown. They've owned it since I was in high school.
Right.
They can't vote.
Yep.
90% of your downtown business owners do not reside inside the city limits. They provide businesses, services, and they own the buildings.
Yes.
So why can't they vote?
Well, that's something too. I've talked to some business owners downtown about that, and they've expressed like, well, you know, I own a business here, and so things that get voted on affect me, even though I technically live out of city limits. Mm-hmm. But then I've thought about it a lot. That's kind of that weird. It's kind of a weird position to be in because I also I want those people to be able to vote on what's in the city, but I don't want the people who live in Seattle that own a business here to be able to vote on what happens here.
Well, and that's like I said, the proposal's very, very early in some of the stages because I've had this discussion with both them gentlemen I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I don't think it's fair.
Right.
So there's a way, and it's been done in certain other places.
Sure.
That you say you put a 5-mile buffer or whatever it is,
right?
That you reside in, and you own property within the city limits,
right?
Or bare minimum, at least you reside in Lincoln County.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Maybe if you live in Lincoln County,
yes, and you own it, yes.
But that's all. That's all preliminary. Like I said, that would have to be done at the state. It's like the mayor, the council, city administrator. There's no one that has any say over that. Is done at the state level.
Right.
So people think, Hugh Taylor said he would do this. No, Hugh Taylor didn't say that. But I will look. I will look into it for you, and I will come back with an answer. And like I said, it may not. There's nothing we can do.
Right.
This is the way it is.
Right.
And I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm going to make the wrong calls, and everybody does. And anybody that tells you that they're perfect all the time are just full of it.
Yes.
That's true.
There's no one that's right all the time. Nobody. We're all human beings. We got opinions, and we look at it from this point of view. Well, I never thought about your point of view, and I never thought about your point of view.
Right.
So maybe we need to reconsider the decision if it can be reversed.
Yes.
You're all the big controversy over stop signs down on Mineral Avenue. The people came with a petition with 300 plus signatures. They attended 8 meetings. Why didn't know anything about it? Well, you chose not to be informed. I'm sorry to say that, but that's what happened. Not one person in any one of them 8 meetings spoke up and said, "I do not want these stop signs."
Not a one.
Not one.
Not a one. Yes, I remember. I did because I remember people were getting. And I said, "Where were you? Yeah. Where were you for?" Not one person said they were against this.
Yeah. But that's not permanent.
Right.
You could do the same 500 people could bring a petition in and say, "We don't like those stop signs downtown. I'd like the city to reconsider this." It can go back to Streets Committee and it can be reconsidered. Was it a mistake to do that? Could have been. May not have been.
Right.
It's not permanent. It didn't end anybody's life. It didn't end anyone's career.
Right.
Didn't financially kill anyone, burden anyone, anything like that. Yeah. It can be reversed. So was that a mistake? Could be. May not be.
Right.
Because like I said, you hear people complain. You hear people that are thrilled with it.
Yeah.
So you're going to come down on the wrong side.
Yes.
Now, I think it's upon the burden is upon the citizen to be informed. Like it's your responsibility to go out and seek the information and to stay informed. But do you think there's anything that the city could do to help facilitate that and make it easier than it is right now?
Yes.
And what would that be?
The main thing the city can do, and I know it's not a popular topic, is a social media presence. At least put out the agendas, put out on social media, not just on the city's website. Because then you physically have to go. You're not just sitting there scrolling and looking at what Bobby and Susie did today. Well, the city's having a meeting on the streets.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then people will see it, and they'll either be like, "Oh, this is good," or "This is bad," and then they'll share it, and then more people see it.
More people should attend. But definitely social media. In today's world, social media is a must.
Yes.
And basically what we're doing here. It's a must. You can't ignore it anymore.
Right.
It's not the deep, dark corners of the universe where no one pays any attention to that anymore. 99% of the people get their news and their information on social media of some sort, kind, whether it's weather apps, whether it's Fox News, whether it's ABC News, whether it's People Magazine, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
They're getting their information right here on this.
Yes.
And the city needs to be proactive in that. Back COVID, prior to COVID, everybody's bitching. Why don't you video your meetings and have them online? And you know what? That was a wonderful complaint. I heard it for the first 3 years I was on council. You need to do this. You need to do this. Well, on any given day, there might be 4 participants on the Zoom meeting that actually watch it online.
But that's actually not entirely. That's not on Facebook. They will live stream it, and the Facebook live streams will get hundreds.
Because
that's true.
An individuals choose to do that.
Yes.
Not because they're chiming into the Zoom meeting.
Yes. No. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
Because any person, in fact, DCR, 15 years ago, I could be wrong on the date and time, when he was on the council, was having some issues, and he paid someone to stand in the back of the room and videotape the meetings because that way there was documented evidence of what was going on.
Right.
But so anyone could have sat there with their phone and done that all along when there was no Zoom meeting.
Right.
And a few times it happened.
Right.
People did sit back there and do that. But now that the city has that, that's another. Everybody says, I can't make it Monday night. I have this and that and the other thing going on. Well, Zoom it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Send it from your house. You can be cooking dinner while you're listening to at least the topics. You don't even have to watch the video. Just listen to, we're talking about street X and Y, Z. And
well, but the other thing, too, is like, so a private citizen live streams it on social media and records it. It'd be nice if the city recorded it and had the recording available at the very least, so that people who couldn't listen in while it was happening could listen in later.
So I don't know the accessibility to it.
Okay.
Because I'm uncertain. But the meeting is recorded.
Oh, it is?
Okay.
On a handheld.
Oh, okay.
That Leanne then dictates the minutes from.
Yes.
So there is an audio recording. I don't know how accessible that is or isn't. As a council member, I've retrieved it in the past, prior to Zoom, prior to any of that.
Right.
But the minutes are basically, the minutes we just looked last night or Monday night are back to 2020.
Okay. Yeah.
Online. You can review the minutes and that's basically, should be the highlights of what occurred during the meeting.
Yes, right.
Sure. However, I will say that audio and video are better than written minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's tone and context that's missing from that. I could say like, oh, you did a great job, Hugh. And if you say it different ways, it'd be like, you really did a great job, Hugh.
Well, and that's where I think the video is even better.
Right.
Because you can watch so-and-so roll their eyes or just go, or that you don't hear in an audio, and you don't read in a written script.
Right.
You,
definitely.
Throw their head on the desk, go,
Right.
You don't pick any of that up. So no, but I think truly that social media presence is one of the big things that the city can do. And I also think that performed by the mayor, and I would also encourage, if I win the mayor's seat, the council to do it on their own, is a State of the Union.
Yes.
When I first got on the council, the city had gotten in trouble for election fraud. Or election tampering, whatever words you want to put on it. The previous council, 2 councils before that, got involved with a case of Alan Olson, and there was a few people that were involved in that, the mayor and the majority, and all but one member of the council that were at that time, interfered in an election, and the Commissioner of Political Practices ruled on that, and found them that yes, you used public means and public resources to interfere in this election. We won't mention any names, but it's easy to look up.
Yeah, well, we're both pretty familiar with it. Yeah,
it's public record.
But anyways, so after that, the Commissioner of Political Practices issued an order that part of their penalty was the city was to have a transparency week, where they had to do something, and that was where he was really vague and really dropped the ball. Was not you will do this or you will do that, just you will have this transparency week. So my first, third month on the council, I get appointed to chair this 1 week long transparency thing without even knowing why I was there, what I was doing, or why we had to have the transparency week.
Right.
But I get pointed, here's the new guy, the new guy can take the ball and run with it. So anyways, I thought about this, and I kind of did my research, and I realized why we had to do it, because there was a lack of public trust. Same thing we're just talking about now. And I'm looking back through this, and I'm reading his rule, and actually there was nothing that we had to do. Well, Monday night was city council meeting night of the week that, because they'd said it like, I can't even remember what week it was now, but there was this week that every year it was to be this week.
Right.
There's say June 1st week. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. But so Monday night was a city council meeting night. Number 2, the second night of that same week, I contacted Dan Clark at the MSU Local Government Study Commission or Study Center, had him come up and taught a class on local government. Rights knows, right to participate.
Right.
The third day we had council rules and procedures. The fourth day we had kind of how the budget worked for the city. The fifth day we had an open house. What do you want to talk about? And to the best of my knowledge, that was the last open house the city had, and that was in 2018.
Well, that's a while ago now.
Yeah, that's
And it was done by a rookie councilman.
right.
Yeah.
And we talked about from stuff in the county to the turkeys to dogs to apples falling out of your tree. We just sat in a circle and let's just talk. What's bothering you today? What do you think we need to do different? And that was the last time that happened. And I encourage, if I don't win, the current mayor, and I encourage the council to look at doing the same thing. Interact with your constituents. The people you claim to represent, if you don't know them and don't know what their needs are, how are you going to represent them?
And that was like you said, that was the biggest thing was, you go to this meeting and people ask questions and nothing said. It would be nice to have that flow of information, to like you said, be informed or say, hey, here's what's going on. Is this something that you can, stuff that doesn't need to be a city council meeting or something like that,
Well, and part of that same scenario is, and I get it, and I get where the lawyer's coming from this, and Dean at MSU, or Dan, excuse me, at MSU, has kind of said that meeting is to conduct city business. So that's kind of the reason they do it the way they do
right.
it. But how about, all right, Mr. Smith, you want to know about the sidewalks on Minnesota Avenue. I have taken note of your comment and your question, and I will look into that and I will get back to you within the next week. Instead of just stonewall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Interact with your
Right.
constituents.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to get in a debate.
No.
You don't have to because, be right honest with you, like I said, nobody knows everything. I can't tell you that I know the street department, what street they're working on next week. I have no idea. I probably heard it in a report somewhere or read it somewhere, but I got other things
Yes.
going on. So when you hit me on the spot like that, I'm not going to have the answer, but I will get you the answer.
Right. Right.
Well, I mean, even just that little, because I've interacted with the council before, and it is like what you say. You say something or ask a question or something, and everybody just sits there and looks at you because that's the rules.
That's how they're instructed.
But it would be nice if council members would say, "Hey, we don't have time to go over this right now, but we can talk later about this, or I will get back to you with some information, or
Or there's a
something."
street committee meeting coming up next week.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Wednesday at 2:00 or whatever
Right.
it might be. I mean, so that's that cold face. I mean, it's the government works for the people.
Well,
Not the
should.
people working
It
for No, the
yes.
government works for the people.
Right.
And if the government's not being held accountable to that standard, that's where it's all dropped. The voters weren't informed. The voters didn't. They just checked the box. You've all seen The Distinguished Gentleman.
Yes.
Actually, no.
It's an Eddie Murphy movie from back in
Yeah.
the early 90s.
Okay.
So his last name's Jackson. Make a long story short.
Okay.
Well, they're con men. He's got a whole group of con men. He's got a brother and a cousin and a sister and an aunt and whatever.
Sounds
They're-
like my
they're-
type of movie.
But they're as dirty as dirty gets. They are
Okay.
straight up con. I want to say it's out of Florida.
Yes.
But anyways,
Yeah.
the sitting senator, Mr. Jackson, dies.
Oh, and he takes over his place,
No.
or
He goes and buys all the campaign signs and stuff from the widow because this guy's last name Jackson and runs on the name. He makes it to the Senate or Congress, whichever one it is.
oh,
They're running on the name. Well, I know that name, so I'm clicking the box.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, interesting.
yeah, but he runs just on the name. I mean, I know that name. We've heard that name for the last 18 years. Well, they got a lot of experience. Let's vote for that name.
Yeah.
You know,
But that's what we're trying to avoid with
Yes.
this sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Is we're trying to avoid people just checking D or checking R down the ticket. I think it's really important to actually understand who you're voting for.
so the one lady I talked to you about the curb, she has a problem with her water bill. She reached out to me again. She's an elderly lady. She trusts me.
Yeah.
And we're discussing all this about how the EDUs and the water rate increase came in and all that stuff like that. And she says, well, Hugh, I tried to look and I couldn't find the minutes online for that meeting when they voted that in. And I said, we got to look between this date and next. I had a roughly idea. I want to say it was May, of that year of 24. And she says, okay, I'll do that. And, well, how did you vote, if you don't mind me asking? I said, I'll tell you every time how I voted. I'll stand behind my voting record. I said, I can tell you to this day, to the best of my knowledge, I am the only sitting city council person to ever vote no on the water bill while sitting in the hospital.
Yes.
I had surgery that morning.
Yes,
I remember
that too.
I remember that one.
I remember that too.
I voted no from a hospital bed in Kalispell.
Right. Right.
She just laughed. She said, well, that's pretty dedicated.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, it's just be informed. I mean, it's so many things have changed, and let's just nip another question I hear all the time. Got nipped in the back. So, back to that lady. Sorry, I got off track. She told me in the last election she voted for Miss Williams. I said, well, that's okay. I understand. She said, no, the reason I did, Hugh, I want you to know, is she was elected in 2008. I said, yeah. You were appointed in 2018. I said, well, why didn't you come and ask me about that? Well, you were appointed and she was elected. I said, but I've been elected twice since then. Yes, initially I was appointed to the council.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I've been elected twice.
Right.
Well, and also, to be fair, wasn't Mayor Williams initially appointed to that when Brent Teskey?
Yes, but to be in the government as a whole, she was elected to the council in 2008.
Right.
So that was, that was her logic, was she
Okay.
was elected, you were appointed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. 10 years earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Or not 10 years, but whatever, 7 years earlier, yes, that you were correct. I also was elected twice after that.
Right.
Once by acclamation, just like Ethan was, and once by a vote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last vote for city council members, I had the highest number of votes.
You did.
Yep, you did.
You did. You 100% did.
So, anyway, but that's, people, it's misconception. Well, I know that name, and the name's been around, and like I said, I wish no ill will towards anyone. I just think that if I thought the job was being done right, I wouldn't have ran.
Right.
And that's why the very next day, I couldn't make it down there at noon that day. The very next day when filing opened, I filed. My opponents, all three of them that there was at the time, two of them filed the day before the deadline. The last one filed the day of the deadline.
Yeah.
At like 1 minute to spare.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Me and another person, we were watching that really close. We're like, is it going to be only Hugh running unopposed?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how committed I was to this, and I didn't care that I was going to be the Lone Ranger. And I'm very glad Miss Williams stepped up and ran. I'm very glad Mr. Jameson stepped up and ran, because the people deserve a choice.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
If it would have just Hugh wins by acclamation, that's kind of dirty.
Yes.
I don't want to win under that situation.
Yeah, right.
Because then it's back to the same thing with this lady. Well, you were appointed. Well,
Right.
if you win by acclamation, you're kind of appointed, but you still want to vote.
Right.
Yeah.
Real quick, you had said there was another question that you had that you wanted to nip in the bud that people had.
Oh, about me being appointed.
Oh, okay.
About being appointed versus election.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's come up.
Yes.
And then the job thing about having a full-time job.
Yes.
And,
Right.
That's my two key points there. How are you going to find time to be the mayor? That's another question I get a lot of. We talked about having evening meetings. Well, I managed to get every year of the 13 years I was a volunteer fireman for the City of Libby in a rural fire district, over 100 training hours. That's an award. That's a big award.
Right.
You start out at 50, and I think, or 75, but the big one's 100.
Yes.
That's when you get the good awards. I had over 100 training hours every year I was on the fire department. That's not counting the hours I spent at fires.
Yes. Right.
That is
Right.
training.
Right.
Yeah.
So break that up into 52 weeks a year.
Right.
You find the time for what you find beneficial. And I had small little children at the time. raising the family, school events, choir practice, basketball, running the kids to the dentist, and I still managed to volunteer that much time in the community for free. And then everybody, I hear that you want to raise the mayor's pay to a full-time job. You want to make an $80,000 a year job. I've read that. I've heard that. I never said that.
I was gonna say, I've never.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never heard you say. Yeah.
Well, the study commission, the Libby, is talking about making the mayor a full-time
Yes,
job. But that's not me. I did not say that. Yes, I am the ex officio.
That was
so
Vince.
That means,
Vince Backen was the one who floated that idea.
So
originally.
I am a liaison between the commission and the city.
Yes,
that's what the ex officio means. I do not vote. I do not set their agenda. I do not. I mean, I can comment during what they got going on, but I'd have no control over what the study group does. So if they choose to make the mayor a full-time job, I didn't vote for that. I don't think the mayor needs to be a full-time job.
Right.
I just explained that. If the right people are in place,
right.
This boat will float.
But see, here to my argument of well, they're spending 40 hours a week there. It's a full-time job for them. Are they doing anything with that 40 hours? What are we seeing that's being as the product of their 40 to 50 hours a week being there?
I don't know.
And so that would be kind of
to me, it's like I said, if you don't have the right people in place, I could see that being necessary.
Yes,
Sure.
So now we're 4.5 years into her term, or 4 years in because she's got a few months left because she got appointed early.
Yes.
Okay, so we're 4 years into her term. If the right people aren't in place, why aren't they?
No, that's very true.
Yes.
And why isn't that being reviewed and changed when necessary?
So if that's the case, why is that not being remedied?
Absolutely.
I'm it's not my staff. I'm not telling you whether the right people are or aren't in place. I mean, but if I did not have the right people in place, 4 years later, I would hope I had that remedied.
Right.
Especially before I stepped into another 4 years.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to time here.
Okay.
What is the one thing that you would say to the the people that you're trying to? What would you say to the people of Libby?
What I would say to the people of Libby is hold your government accountable. Make them transparent. Make them work for you. Make them earn your trust. And if they're not doing that thing, then vote them out. All of them. I don't care who it is, if it's me, anybody. If I am not representing you, I need to go.
Yeah, I you remember what my words were when I left? No politician deserves to be comfortable for long.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Well, Hugh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I'm
joining
glad you
us.
guys had me.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
I look forward to November.
Yeah.
I see great things on our future, and guess what? If I don't make it as mayor, I'm still on the council, and I still have a vote to stick up for the people of Libby.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It's not all about. I mean, it's not a power trip for me. I have nothing to gain. I mean, I don't own a business. It's not. I'm padding my business because I'm the mayor. I work for someone else.
Right.
I'm not even a shareholder. Nothing. I work for someone else.
Right.
I own a little bitty house over there. I own the Taj Mahal. I'm on a dead end street, so I'm not gaining. Oh, I'm getting a loop through here and a special driveway. The first 5 years I was on the council, or 4 years I was on the council, my dirt was street. Or
Yes,
my street was dirt.
right.
I lived on a dirt street inside the city limits. And one day they had the extra asphalt for some project, and Jim Hammond's a former supervisor, so because the lady above me was really raising heck. Phil, well, maybe we should put some asphalt on that road. They didn't grade it, nothing. They come in and laid asphalt. I lived on a dirt road, so
Right.
I'm out to gain nothing. But
Right.
all I'm trying to do is look out for the citizens of Libby, and that's who needs to be number one. It has to be what's right for the city of Libby,
Yes.
not for individuals. The Good Old Boy Club has to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Excellent. Well,
that's where I'm at.
well, thank you again.
Yeah,
and,
thank
and
you.
thank you all for watching.
thank
Hopefully,
you.
hopefully we'll have a third installment with Mayor Williams. But yeah, share this far and wide.
Yes.
Perfect.